problem. When that way we put something to the person, it becomes a little more palatable, or the person who is listening to it will be a little happy to do something. There are other problems we face where we have to write letters. Another problem that, or generally not a problem, but where you have to write letters. I am looking at situations where letter writing becomes a must. When do we have to write letters? Business letters? Every one of us. We need not be doing a business to write a business letter. I'm sure all of you have an account in the bank. Now, I can't pick up the telephone and tell the manager, do this. There are still certain things where you have to write letters. If there is a problem, you don't have electricity, there is a power cut, you can pick up the telephone and ask him why. But there are some things where a letter is important, because a letter also means that it is signed, there is a record for it. Now, when it is your account, something to do with your savings bank account, you can't give verbal orders. The orders or the requests have to be given on paper. You got to write it, sign it, and your signature will be matched with your signature given in the bank, and only then the letter becomes authentic, or that you are the person who has an account and you are asking for something. Shall we look at letters that we are generally we have to write to the banks? Okay, all of you must be having banks accounts. Sometimes we are a little careless and we lose our passbook. I'm sure it has happened to the best of people. People who are even very systematic sometimes misplace or lose the passbook. What do? You've got to write a letter to the bank manager. Okay. So we look at inquiry at the bank. Lost your passbook? What to do? Want a bank statement? Again, what to do? Now these are some problems. Look at them carefully. These are basic problems. I find students standing in the bank looking totally confused. This is from my experience that I have picked up. They look totally confused, and then they pick up a piece of paper and then hands shivering how to write a letter. Now, in the bank, you have to write a letter. Verbal orders will not do. So all of you, I think, should look at this very, very carefully. You start again with your name. Let's suppose that you are a John, a BK John. Now, your address becomes very interesting here, because where you are living is not very important to the bank manager. What is important is your savings account number. Once this number is given, they have your address. No need to repeat information here. The savings account number is your address if you are writing to the bank. If you are writing from college, what does your address become? Your address will become, say, BSc 1A or BCom 1B as a class when you are writing about. Your home address is not the only address you use. So here there is no need to write your home address. Your account number should do. State Bank of India, is that enough? No, the branch is required. Koti, Hyderabad. So apparently in Koti there is only one branch, and that's the branch you have an account with. So your name, the account number, and the bank, and where the bank is. Who to? The manager, State Bank of India, Koti, Hyderabad. Look at this format again, please, very carefully, because I'm sure all of you at some point of time will have to write a letter to the bank. I hope you don't lose your passbooks, but you would have some other job. I'll be looking at 2 or 3 other jobs that you can do with the bank positive jobs, not always losing things. Maybe I lose them and I write a lot of these letters and I think the world does it. Anyway, look at the format. The format is very simple. Your name, your savings account number, the branch, the bank, the branch and the city. Then the manager, the branch, the city. That would do. Okay? Clear? I'm sure that's quite simple. Now, let's go to the matter, the content, the body. Sir, I, BK John, have a savings bank account in your bank. In the bracket give SB account number 6241. I lost my passbook and would like you to issue me a new one. That's all. You don't need to write length. You think of the poor bank manager. So many people lose so many things, need so many things, and they keep on giving him letters from morning. From the time he comes to his office, he has to read letters. Now, you don't want to tell him, I lost it, I was traveling in the bus, and then I sat down, I lost it, I forgot my bag, I got down. After 15 minutes, I remembered. Please, he is not interested in you. You want to tell the story? Tell your friend. If your friend asks you, Arey bhai, how did you lose your passbook? Tell him the whole story, the katha. You know, this is what happened. I went there, and then I started talking. I forgot. All that is for your friend. The bank manager is an official who is very, very busy. So what do you do to him? You just tell him, I lost it and I want a new one. Now, what do? He will tell you what should be done. Maybe he'll cut some money. I don't know what the procedure of the bank is. Each bank has different procedures. But tell him, inform him, that is very important. This is the information you have to give him. Please don't give the story. Your life history, not required. All that is required is the information that your passbook is lost. Yours sincerely, that's it. And your signature. Please, the same signature that you use for your checks, the same signature you must put here. You may be thinking, why are you talking about a bank? Again, let me repeat that letters have to be written. Banks do not accept verbal orders. If you tell them, they will not do it. You've got to give it in writing. So, in the bank, if they say, write a letter and give you a piece of paper, you should be able to write it immediately without any doubt. So, how do you start? Your name, savings account number, branch, city. Then, the manager, the branch, the bank, the city. That's all. And then, the work you have. It could be like this one we were discussing. You have lost your passbook. Or it could be other reasons. Well, we do a lot of things in the bank. All right? Like what? Now, here is a Lakshmi, again savings account number 6241, State Bank of India, Koti, Hyderabad. The manager, by now you know, State Bank of India, Koti, Hyderabad. So, you have to know this format very, very clearly, because this is not something for which you go to a computer center. Supposing it's your letter of application, yes, you can go to a computer center and the man there will put the format. But here the format is, you have to write it. Take a piece of paper and immediately start writing it there in the bank. So you should know this very well, so that you don't have a tension, Half the time we have tension when we don't know how to write. The tension in the bank is caused because of that scare. How do I write a letter? Now, if you are able to express yourself well in a letter, banking becomes very easy. Going to the bank, inquiring, writing a letter should be very easy. Otherwise, you will have a scare for the bank. Sir, I, P. Lakshmi, have a savings bank account in your bank. I need the bank statement for the financial year 2003 to the 2004 for filing income tax returns. Yours sincerely. Look at this. Now here is a lady, Lakshmi, who has an account and she has to file her income tax returns, and the income tax returns, the people ask them for the financial statement. What have you, how much money do you have? And then the bank gives them the statement. You don't have to say from March to April, April to March. Don't say anything. The financial year would do. Again, look at the language. Okay, this word is important here, financial year, academic year. These are years which are very different. Now, as a lecturer, I will say, I always think from June to March, June to April. That is the year starting and ending. For a banker, it would be, you know, from, April to March, something like that. Okay. Now, you may have a doubt like me. Just use the word financial year. You are safe. Financial year 2003, 2004. For what purpose? For filing the income tax returns. You may need it if you are studying abroad. If you want to go to study abroad, people may ask you for a financial statement. Then you write a letter like this to the bank. Lots of times you need a statement, and a simple letter like this will be enough for the bank. Okay, shall we look at other letters? Yes. What kinds of letters? Instructions to the bank. What kind of instructions can you give? Debit money from savings bank account for the locker rent. You have a locker in the bank, you have a savings account in the bank. You don't have to go every year and give a check and say, sir, this is my rent for the locker. You have an account, give a letter saying, for every year remove some money, whatever is the money from my account. All right. Debit money from savings account for the telephone bill, for the electricity bill. All these are modern methods of paying your bills. When you are very busy, when you are working and you're busy and you can't go and stand in the queue to pay the bills, the bank will do it for you. These are bills that the banks do pay. The banks pay now the electricity bill. The telephone bill, I'm not very sure, but definitely I think in the future we'll have all these things. So how do you write letters of that kind? I will be looking only at the content. I'm not looking at the format. By now you know your format? Yes? Your name, account number, bank, branch, city. The manager, bank, branch, city. Understood? Okay. Now, here you have, sir, I have a locker in my name for which I have to pay a yearly rent of rupees 700. Kindly debit the amount from my savings account number 3324. You may be wondering, in this letter there is no name. There is no need for the name, because right at the top, you know, you have your name and your account number. No need to repeat. You say, I have a locker in my name, and then there is a, what do you call it, an account in my name, and the 700 is the yearly rent. Kindly every year debit. Otherwise, you know, there will be a problem. If you forget to pay, or if something like that happens, it's one headache off. The bank will automatically do it. Find out, first of all, the services that your bank can offer you and use them. A simple letter like this will be very helpful. In what other, of course, yours sincerely. You don't have to, this letter will just take 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes to draft. And every year you have peace of mind. You don't have to bother. So look at the language again. I have a locker in my name, and I have an account, and this is my account number. Look at the two sentences, how closely linked they are. I have a locker in my name. Now why am I writing my name? Already the name is given on top. You cannot see, but you have given your name, right? for which I have to pay yearly rent of 700. So important information given is the rent, the locker, and debit the amount from my savings account number 3324. Now, that's the only simple things, clear information. What is the information I have to give? Now think like that. I have a locker, this is the rent, this is my account number. Every year remove that money from my account. That's all. The information you have, please state that information clearly. Once you do that, there won't be any confusion in the bank. A badly written letter can cause a lot of confusion. So don't bring in extra names, extra information, how you are very thankful he gave you a locker, how it is very convenient if he can take away the money from your account, and how difficult it is for you to go every year, remember and pay. All that, please, again, you tell your friend, don't write in the letter. That's extremely important. You see, people tend to think of the manager as a friend. Yes, think of him as a friend. Talk to him if he has the time. Don't write all that in the letter. Poor man will be confused. Look at another letter. Sir, I, R. Suresh, have a savings account number 4324. I am submitting my electricity service connection number F22554 for registration to avail ATM payment facility. I am enclosing the latest bill. Okay. Now, this is very interesting. You have to give your electricity service connection number and the latest copy of the latest bill or the latest bill. Now, and then every month from your account money is debited. Now, this is a, I understand, is a way in which you can pay your electricity bill. And this is the kind of letter you write. Again, what is the information required? Your account number, your electricity service connection number, and the latest, what is the facility you are using, and the latest copy of the latest bill. Just this information is enough. There are other services for which you could be writing letters. The telephone department. Telephone department, you can actually pick up the phone and tell them, but there are some facilities for which they want written. That is, if you go to someone's house and pick up the telephone and give orders, it could be a problem. See, so they want evidence in writing. So STD bar, you don't want STD, write a letter. People come to your house, pick up the phone and do STD calls, and you get a huge bill. What do? So you go to the telephone department and write a letter. Again, your name, this time what will it be? Your savings account number? No, your telephone number and the city. That becomes your immediate need, right? Home address is also not required. Then 2, the particular person required from the telephone exchange, and what would the letter be? Sir, kindly remove the STD facility I have. Thank you. That's all. That's all. One line is enough. Sir, comma, please remove the STD facility from my telephone number, and just put your telephone number and your signature. That's all that is required. One sentence. That's all. STD availing, on the other hand, you don't have STD facility. You write a letter saying that, again, your name, the telephone number, and then to the exchange, and then you just simply ask, sir, I have a telephone number so and so. I want STD facility. My telephone doesn't have it. Please, give it to me. Yours sincerely. Only one sentence again, nothing which is very difficult to write. This again is a problem I find, I'm sure all of us are facing. Your electricity bill suddenly comes up to a huge amount. Every month you pay 500 and you get a 2000 rupee bill. Then you write a letter. Every month I get this bill, and this month I got a very large bill. In the written form, complaints become more effective. If you write a complaint, if you go and speak to him, maybe action won't be taken. A written complaint always has more power. You can refer back. I wrote a letter. Keep a copy with you and go and show. Sir, I wrote, this is the letter. And you can keep saying, I wrote 5 letters, 3 letters. Sometimes when the job is not done, don't get angry, but face it and find a solution. All of us have these problems, and the best way, education, I think, should teach us how to face the world, face the problems, and English, believe you me, can do the trick. Sometimes a well-written letter can do a lot for you. I'm hoping for that anyway. Let us just look at what the features of your complaints or your inquiries should be. Please don't shout out. Even when you're talking on the telephone, these are some of the things that are very important.